UpHere Budget Black CPU Air Cooler, model number N1055CF. This is a CPU cooler we will be doing some temperature testing on today, and we're going to see how it holds up against other CPU coolers in this price point. There will be timestamps in the description below. If there's a certain part of the video you'd like to jump to, you're more than welcome to do so. There's some other links down there that may interest you, and don't forget to do all that fun YouTube stuff on your way down that description box. So without wasting a lot of your time, let's flip you over here and we'll run down through the components that make up today's test bed. Alright, for the components that make up today's test bed, we have the AMD Ryzen 5 5600G. This is the CPU that we are running, along with the integrated graphics, that way it can produce as much heat as possible. We have that on the Gigabyte B550M DS3H motherboard. We are running G-Skilled Ripjaws 5 series 16 gig, 2 8 gig sticks, running at the XMP profile of 3600 MHz. This is the only part in the system that is overclocked. For storage, we have the Silicon Power 512 GB NVMe M.2 SSD. To power the whole system, we have the EVGA 500 BA100 500 watt 80 plus bronze certified non-modular power supply. And to house everything, we have the Fractal Design Focus G Black ATX mid-tower computer case. While we're talking about the case, I did add another 120mm fan in the back of it. That way you have 2 intakes and 1 exhaust. As far as the coolers we're going up against today, we have the Ergo Shadow Max cooler. We have the numbers for the Cooler Master Hyper-T 4 heatsink. We are putting it against the Vitro B5 Black CPU air cooler. We are putting it against the AMD Wraith Stealth stock cooler. We also have the Ergo P6 CPU air cooler. We have the ID Cooling SE914XT ARGB CPU cooler. And of course, we do have the UpHere Black CPU air cooler, model number N1055CF. Alright, we ran down through the components that make up today's test bed and the air coolers that we're going to be putting against it. The way I do my testing and why I do it the way I do it. Like I mentioned, we are running the 5600G with the integrated graphics. I run Cinebench R23 for the half-hour stress test. I run this 3 times back to back, and I take the average of them 3 different runs for my average temperature and my max temperature. Since we are using the iGPU in this build, I also have Heaven Benchmark in the background looping at 1080p. That way the iGPU and the CPU both are putting out as much heat as possible. So now, since we ran down through the components to make up today's test bed, I told you why and how I do my testing. Let's flip you over here and we'll run down through this numbers and we'll see how this thing performs. Alright guys, we ran down through the components to make up today's test bench. We ran down through the way I do my tests and why I do them the way I do them. Now it's time for why you guys actually clicked on the video. We're going to see how this thing performs compared to these other CPU coolers. So let's flip you over here and we'll look at this nice little chart I put together for you. Alright, here we go. We got the max temperatures in black. And we have the average temperatures in orange. We have the Wraith Stealth cooler. The max was 95.6. The average was 93.3. The Shadow Max had a max of 80.8 with an average of 78.7. The UpHere cooler, we had a max of 76.3 with an average of 71.6. The Ergo P6, we had a max temperature of 74.4 and the average was 70.8. The Vitro V5, we have a max of 71.1, average of 68.9. The SE914XT by ID Cooling, we had a max by 70.9 and an average of 67.4. We had the Hyper-T 4 by Cooler Master. We had a max of 69.8 and an average of 67.7. By looking at them numbers, this thing hits somewhere there in the middle. If you haven't seen the unboxing, overview, and the AM4 install of this cooler, I'll put links up there for you if you'd like to go watch them when you get done with this video. But in that unboxing video, where the pipes meet into the plate at the bottom, that wasn't exactly level, wasn't straight across, it had a little bit of ripple to it, which I was kind of concerned on how that was going to interfere with the cooling of it. But I must have got enough thermal paste in there or whatever to make up for that difference, because it seemed like it cooled pretty well. But for the money, I do believe you got better options out there. The one I have in today's video is an LED version. They do have an ARGB version. You might spend a couple extra dollars, but I think you got a little bit better options out there, especially for the performance. When you're buying an aftermarket heatsink, that's what you're really looking for, that performance. There will be a link in the description below if you'd like to have a little bit more information about this cooler. There's also some other links down there that may interest you while you're down there. Don't forget to do all that fun YouTube stuff on your way down that description box. You all have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video or live stream.